President Kennedy was shot today. An hour later, my family was murdered. I have nothing left, no future to live for. Those who shook my hands and swore on the Constitution to defend our country betrayed us all. 23 years in the CIA, and this is where I end up. What kind of man fails to protect his wife and son? I'm so sorry, Sean. And you, Barbara? There's no sense in asking for forgiveness. There's no sense in imagining what I could have done differently.
Not so long ago I was asked about how this story began. And I remembered not the Caribbean crisis, not the hydrogen bomb, not even the conference in Yalta that divided the world in two. Everything started much earlier for me. In 1943, I received a mission from HQ. I had to infiltrate the Berganas fortress in Norway, where the Nazis were working on a drug, a super soldier serum. I had to destroy the samples and eliminate the German doctor who was responsible for their creation. I first met Vincent Rambaldi there, in Bergen. That was where everything started.
Hello everyone and welcome to Alekhine's Gun. I apologize if that cutscene was a little quiet, but I have it turned up as high as my video editor will physically let me. This is the briefing screen for our first mission, which is a very average mission. Usually you do have to kill or detain at least 2 people, and there's always a third objective. This is also a very good mission to get used to how the game works, because pretty much every situation you're going to see through the rest of the game, you're going to see here. And I am staying on the screen long enough so you can see who and what we're up against exactly, but very rarely will the briefings actually have information that's useful to us in our assassinations. Usually the briefing screens just serve the purpose of either fleshing out the story or making the objectives sound a lot harder or easier than they actually are. Oh, and I want to make it clear from the start, although these objectives are numbered, we can complete them in any order. This game's entire selling point really is how open the gameplay is. You have a variety of ways to complete every objective, and the maps are very large and free roaming. Still have to, not get shot though. As this is primarily a stealth game, getting shot is a lot worse than if this were just a straight up third-person shooter. There is third-person shooting, but it's not ideal. You can still do it if you want though. Most of the time the game will not stop you. But there are some instances where it will end the mission in failure. In the future, I'm not going to be talking over the briefing screens, but I will also make sure you know when to skip to if you don't want to see them. Even though we've already unlocked the silenced pistol, we're going to go with the default loadout here, because realistically we wouldn't have unlocked it yet, because this is just the first mission. Welcome to the gameplay of Alekhine's Gun. It asked if we wanted a tutorial, but we don't. The first thing we need to do is find some new clothes, because if we approach any of the guards like this, they will shoot us dead in seconds. And this poor sap right here is in the perfect position to strangulate. If we hold the strangle button long enough, we'll actually automatically carry his body at the end, which is very handy. Now we just need to put him somewhere he won't be found and take his clothes. Once we take his clothes, we'll blend in a lot better. There will still be some officers that are suspicious of us, but no longer will they automatically open fire. Be aware that if they see us carrying the body, that's just about the worst thing you can possibly do. There are situations where if you put the body down immediately, for some reason they will no longer attack you. But usually, when they see you carrying a body, that's it. You're done. There's normally a guy here at the front gates that will try to stop us, but we're just gonna waltz right in because he's busy checking on someone else. Most of the NPCs in this game have a pattern like that. And figuring out how they patrol and where is kind of important.
Are you the American? The one everyone keeps talking about?
You're the Russian. The one no one talks about. I'm kidding. I was told the Russians were interested in Heinrich. Look, maybe we can work something out.
Looks like you're the only one who needs help here.
To hell with this. I have something you'll want. You just let me out of here.
Be more specific.
Documents. Heinrich was working on the serum. It's all in the folder. Formulas, reports of the tests they were working on.
Hurry up.
Hey, you wouldn't happen to have any cigarettes on you, would you?
Ask the Germans. You know how much they love tobacco.
So our new buddy Rambaldi here will wait for us until the mission's over so we can escape with him. Which is rather odd because he has no incentive to wait, but he'll wait anyway. We could have done this objective at any time just like all the others, and you're not even made aware that this objective exists. That fade to black was just me saving our progress in the menu. This game does not autosave, so you have to keep a manual log of saves. There is a room upstairs where we're headed, where there's a guy with a much nicer uniform than ours, and we want his uniform, otherwise there are certain rooms we can't access. But in order to take that guy out, we need to take out his buddy, this guy right here. This guy patrols 3 hallways. He patrols this hallway, the hallway we're headed to, and the hallway we were just in. Unfortunately, he did see us about to strangle him, but not quick enough to stop us. Gonna take his gun. Just makes us look a lot more authentic, I think. And this next room is the guy whose uniform we want to steal. But we can't kill him until we're clear, because there are soldiers in the room across from us over there who, you know, will take notice if we kill their buddy. And we're staying up against the wall so they don't spot us, because if they spot us, even if we're not doing anything suspicious, they will be suspicious of us. This is because our uniform is not fancy enough. Now, the guards have varying levels of suspicion. He would either just stare at us for a long time or ask us to leave. I don't think he would just open fire. But that would mess up his pattern and make it harder to kill the guy we want to. After he turns around right here, we're going to strangle the guy that we're after. You can't see him yet, but he's right around the corner. And this poor sap never seems to see me coming. You figure it would be a little easy since I have to practically walk up to his side in order to get the job done, but no, he never sees us coming. I would like to point out that this probably is far from the optimal way to complete this level, but that's not what I'm aiming for. I'm just playing it the way I figured out how to beat it. In the spirit of the game, you know. We're leaving this dead body in this hallway and taking his uniform, which is a much fancier uniform than the one we had. This one has an armband on it, which makes us superior. And now the guards will all be way less suspicious of us. But now we're going to stand here guarding the post that this poor dead sap was originally guarding. so that way when his buddy checks on us, we won't look like we're weird. We don't want to look too weird. Then the guards might start shooting us. But he'll just walk in here, stare at our face, and then walk away. And that's our cue to lockpick this door that's right next to us. Obviously, we couldn't have lockpicked this door until we took out the guy that was guarding it. Otherwise, you know, he would stop us. The odd thing about lockpicking is that if someone catches you doing it, they won't shoot you or attack you. They'll just wiggle their finger at you and tell you to stop. And if you stop immediately, then they'll leave you alone. But just so you know, we're definitely not supposed to have access to this area. Nobody's supposed to come back here. So if the guards would have seen us trying to come back here, then they would have tried to stop us. We have to match all these tumblers up in order to actually crack the safe. It's not all that hard. You turn one direction, line it up, and then turn the opposite direction. A lot easier when you figure out the gimmick. Now we're going to destroy the tape, which was one of our main objectives. We also grabbed some poison out of the safe, though, which is going to come in very handy. But first, let's save again. Okay, so now we have to head back out, and I know what you're thinking. When the guard sees us leave this restricted area, won't he, you know, get all mad? But no. And let's hop over here real quick to look downstairs, and there at the head of the table is our target, Mr. Martin. So we're going to head down there and meet him face to face. Now, there are several ways to kill Mr. Martin. You can strangle him while he's taking a pee, you can kill him when he enters his bedroom, or you can just shoot him. But we're just gonna stand here patiently and wait for an opening. By the way, if we weren't standing guard here with our hands behind our backs, everybody would be staring at us very suspiciously, and it would interrupt some of their patterns. Some of them wouldn't even move because they would be preoccupied with staring at us. But the guy to our right is the one most closely attached to Mr. Martin. You can't see him because he's off screen, but there's a guy right to our right. He will be the most suspicious of us, and he also follows Martin around. So we don't need to worry about him when Martin leaves the room is what I'm saying, but if we stand too close to him while Martin's in the room, he will eventually figure out what we're up to isn't, well, normal, and he will attack us. But, you know, as long as we're standing guard here, like a good soldier, he'll walk right past us just as he did. And here we can hear Martin complaining about being in pain.
Where's the doctor? How much longer do I need to wait for this idiot?
And that's a clue for one of the ways we could take him out. Now he's back, but instead of heading back to his chair, he'll go to take a piss. And of course, his best buddy, his friend guard, will follow right after him, even jogging to keep up. Now it's just down to a staring competition between us and this guy, but if we stay here like a good guard, he will move. And now's our chance to strike. You see, we picked up that poison from the safe, and right here is Mr. Martin's wine. We do have to make sure that absolutely no one is looking at us when we pour the poison into his drink. Otherwise, we will be shot at immediately. But as soon as he turns his head, in goes the poison. And we put the cap back on just in time for the other guard to get back. Now, as I said, these guards wouldn't go about their normal patterns if we weren't standing here. It's time to save again, but I'm going to stop acknowledging when we save, because I'm going to be doing that a lot. But anyway, for example, this guy that's coming back right now, if we weren't standing here and guarding our post with our hands behind our backs, he wouldn't have left, and we wouldn't have been able to poison the guy's drink. Your behaviors definitely affect how everyone else acts, but we're being a lot more subtle this time than my usual style of play. And that's only because I really wanted to poison the guy. Strangling him while he's out in a more open area makes it difficult to take his clothes. And we can see him coming back. Mr. Martin is the number one, as he is our number one objective at the moment. Can see him slowly coming back into the dining room after taking a piss. But as I was saying, if we strangled him in an open area, it would be rather difficult to take his clothes without anyone noticing and then shooting us. Now, after Martin drinks his poison, he's going to go lie down, and then die immediately, because it's a very fast-acting poison. So we're going to go ahead and act now ahead of time. we're going to head into the doctor's room where Martin is going to go lie down at. But we're going to go in through the back way, which requires us to come upstairs again. Now, we could enter the doctor's room from the front, but then there's a chance that one of the guards would follow us inside, watch Martin die right next to us, and that wouldn't be too good for our reputation. Plus, it would make it very hard to steal his clothes, like I said, because they would all be staring at his dead body. Now we're in the stairwell, which is effectively the back door to the doctor's room. And all we have to do is wait here for Martin to come inside, collapse on the floor dead, and we can take his clothes. The reason we want his clothes so badly is because he is the highest ranking clothes man. He has the best clothes. Only officers of the same rank as him, only they will be suspicious of us after we steal his clothes. That effectively means we can go anywhere without worrying. Well, almost anywhere. But we still can't shoot anybody, because they will shoot back. This isn't a Metal Gear Solid 3 situation. You can't just go around and beat up people because you're ranked higher. It doesn't work that way. He sure is taking a long time to get in here. Now would be an ideal time to check the map and see exactly where he is, if I would only remember to do that. Hey look, here he is. And he dies right next to his bed. That's another objective complete, and we're going to slowly make our way down, just in case he didn't close the door. Usually he does, but, you know, you want to be safe. Alright, there's no one else in here to watch us, so we're going to steal his clothes. And after we're done with that, we're going to hide his body in the little dresser in this room. Right over here. And we could walk right out the front door.
Huh?
Guy thinks it's a little weird that we walked out right after coming back in. He rubs his chin, but if we approach him, he won't do anything about it because nobody will be suspicious of us anymore. Now we're outside near the prison complex, which is very close to our second target, who, in case you forgot, is Dr. Hans. Dr. Hans is a very difficult target because he's isolated in a highly guarded room. He's also the first objective for quite a few people who play this game, and this is because it's possible to steal his clothes and act as Martin's doctor, killing him with the poison in the doctor's room instead of poisoning his drink. But no matter where you go first in the level, as long as you don't go directly to Martin, the game supplies you with a way to kill Martin. We're waiting for this other higher ranked officer to leave. Well, he's as highly ranked as we are, but he still thinks we look weird. As soon as he leaves, though, we'll go back to our business. We just don't want him staring at us while we're trying to get stuff done. There he goes. Now it's safe to go about our business. There is one more highly ranked officer in this area. But the solution I have in mind will distract that officer very well. The first thing we need to do, though, is get everyone in this building distracted at the same time. Literally everybody. Want to run around like a lunatic, start poking at doors, whistling like an idiot, all that stuff. We even ran straight into the doctor's room and back out. Now there's only one more guy we need to distract this guy down here. There we go. And now that everyone is thoroughly distracted and confused and wonders what the hell is going on, we're going to run over to the generator switch and turn it off. If anyone sees us turn this switch off, they will shoot at us immediately. But now that we've turned off the power to the doctor's room, his bodyguard is going to come see what's up with that, and Dr. Hans himself is going to take a break. So what we've just accomplished is the doctor's bodyguard is going to be distracted by the power generator switch, and the doctor himself is going to leave his highly secure room. From here, there are two very easy ways to kill the doctor. I'm going to take the funnier way. We're just going to shove him down the steps. Now we're going to turn on instinct mode. When that guard to our right turns white instead of yellow, yep, now's the time. You start yawning, I kill your doctor. That's how it works. Now this will count as an accident. They'll see the dead body, but they won't attribute his death to me. They'll just assume he fell over. But that's all of our objectives completed, so now we can leave with Rambaldi.
Scheiße, der ist tot.
That was some smooth shit right there. I don't care what anyone says. So yeah, that's how I complete the level, but there are definitely several dozen other, well, maybe not several dozen, but there are several other ways to complete it. Again, that's this game's selling point. It's open and you can complete the objectives in almost any order you like. You can interact with all of the NPCs in a variety of ways, most of them involve killing them. And we're just gonna head back to Rambaldi now, that's why we're jogging through the mansion again. I'll see you guys next time for a much easier and shorter level.
Come on, I'm waiting for an explanation.
Herr Oberführer, I do not have an explanation.
But of course, you don't have an explanation. How it happened that someone killed Heinrich and my staff sergeant while the damn American was still in his cell? I'm sending all of you to the tribunal.
Herr Oberführer, could there be someone else working within the castle?
Really? Someone else working within the castle? At least someone here is working, you useless imbecile. Remove the body. Bring me the brandy.
Nick.
Comrade Major General, Colonel Strogov reporting.
That is Strogov. And as always, no need to stand on ceremony. Please sit. Do you remember the Bergen operation? You mentioned Vincent Rambaldi in your report. Was it your first meeting with him?
Yes, sir.
Here he is. How do you like him? What can you say about him?
Inconspicuous, smart, cautious.
Smart, cautious, but taken captive.
That is correct, Comrade Lieutenant. Do you always interrupt the Colonel?
My apologies, Colonel. Permission to speak, sir?
I'm listening.
How exactly would you describe your relationship with Rambaldi?
It's good.
Good?
We were soldiers, potential enemies. I saved him, he gave me intel. Our relationship is good.
And what happened after that?